Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for the Better Broker Series. Has anyone been to any of the other sessions for the Better Broker Series? Excellent. Cool. Glad you're coming around. So we've got two guest speakers today that are from the North Star MLS. First, we're going to have David Zimmerman. He will be going over the new MLS Touch app. David's in his 6th year of tenure with the North Star MLS and was recently appointed to Customer Service Manager. Oh no, Customer Success Manager. The words make a big difference. Yeah, many of you know David from his time at the help desk, and now David's focus will shift to training and hence outreach, being a liaison to the associations and within the marketing department. We want to welcome David.
Thank you.
And quickly, I'm going to cover our second speaker so they can just transition easily together from their own sync.
Perfect.
And we also have Justin Dahlke, who will be touching on rules and regulations. Born and raised in Minnesota, except for his years spent at the U of Nebraska. Ooh. Lincoln, earning his bachelor's degree, Justin is here to discuss the rules and regs of the North Star MLS, offering tips, refreshers, and some common mistakes to avoid. He's been with MLS for 8 years and in the rules and regs department for the past 6 after starting at the help desk. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, let's educate us.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off here. I'm going to give you an introduction to the MLS Touch mobile app. So it's a new product that was released a few months ago. We've been making some minor tweaks and adjustments to it with our vendor over the course of the last few months. Just to kind of get it up to speed with what our members desire and making sure that it's, offering you anything and everything that you may need. So with that, I'm going to transition here. All right, so what is MLS Touch? So MLS Touch is essentially, Matrix on the go. So MLS Touch is a CoreLogic product, which CoreLogic is the parent company to Matrix. Which is also integrated with the One Home system. You're probably familiar with the One Home system because that's what your clients see when you email them listings out of the MLS Matrix system. So the app is designed to host the data provided by North Star MLS. It's supposed to provide an exceptional user experience, and it's not an ad platform. You're not going to see any ads or anything about purchasing an upgrade or anything of that sort. And again, it's an extension of the Matrix system. It's a free member benefit, and you can log into it using your normal Matrix login credentials. When launching the application, you're going to see a screen that looks similar to this, and they call it a 6-pack. So there's kind of like these 6 major buttons right on the front of the screen there that you can use within the application. And then there's some buttons down below on the bottom of the screen as well. One of those buttons at the bottom of the screen is your contacts, and that is completely integrated with the Matrix system. So what that means is that when you add contacts in the MLS Touch application, they're going to appear in Matrix and vice versa. If you add contacts in the Matrix system, they're going to appear here in the MLS Touch application. It's the first app that we've had that talks back and forth with Matrix like that. As you may also be familiar with the HomeSpotter app, unfortunately that one didn't kind of talk back and forth with the Matrix system. So what you would input into Matrix would appear in HomeSpotter, but anything that you would do in HomeSpotter would not necessarily appear in the Matrix system. So that's one thing that we're really excited about, is that it just kind of has that, comprehension of back and forth and that sharing of the data between those two platforms. So again, you can edit those contacts within the MLS Touch application. And then you can also see the properties that your clients may have favorited through the One Home platform. So if they've used the One Home platform and they favorited properties, if you go to their contact within the MLS Touch application, you'll be able to see their favorites, click on that, and it'll show you a list of all of those properties. So again, all of these platforms are meant to be integrated with each other and kind of talk to each other. Another nice feature of this application is you'll see that there's an MLS number search. I believe you can search up to 10 MLS numbers at a time. So if you've got some MLS numbers and you're looking to work with your client, maybe you're going to be on the go and you've invited them to use the MLS Touch application. Before you go, you could enter in all of those MLS numbers. You could get a nice comprehensive list of listings. You could send those out to your client, also have them ready on your mobile device. So as you're doing showings or going out and about, you can quickly access that listing information. And then your client also has it in their hands as well. So they're able to review the photos, look at any pertinent listing information. The My Listings button within the MLS Touch application, obviously it's your own inventory, so you'll be able to have quick access to your own listings within the MLS Touch application. And again, it's just ease of access to those listings that you can share out with your clients and other people that you may be wanting to send your listings to. Any saved searches that you have created in Matrix will appear within the MLS Touch application as well. And there is also actually a feature within MLS Touch where you can create your own saved searches within the application, and then the application separates those two. So there's a category for the saved searches within MLS Touch, and then your saved searches within the Matrix system. But again, they're all accessible right within this mobile platform. And then another thing that I want to draw your attention to is in the lower right-hand corner, there's a More button. And within that More button, there's many other tools that you can use, but one of the really handy tools that I think that our members probably like the most, so you have access to our member roster. So you can go to that More button, click on Member Roster. So just how you would use Matrix and look up an agent in the roster in there, you can do it right on your mobile device, especially when you're on the go. It's pretty handy if you're looking up an agent quick or looking for a phone number or email address. You can quickly access that information there. All right, so MLS Touch offers a pretty comprehensive, searchable platform. It's designed for quick and easy access for listing details that really matter to you. They feature workflows that are consistent throughout the app, and users can easily provide property info to their clients. So underneath the advanced search, there's the capability to search by county, city, or zip code, or you can search by address. You can even search by partial address. So for example, if you're driving around and you see a property on, Roselawn, but you don't exactly know what the house number is, you can easily just type in Roselawn, the name of the street, and select your desired status, and then it'll pull up any properties that match that criteria. So it's nice to be able to, you don't have to have the full address, you can use bits and pieces and try and track down what you're looking for, especially in the event that you may not have all the details for that particular property. The map search within the app is also really nice to use. It's similar to Matrix where you can draw on the map, which I really like. You can just take your finger, you select the pencil, you can draw a shape around a specific area, and then it'll really zero in on those properties and give you that property information. You can even filter by school district or school. It'll pinpoint the school on the map, so it'll kind of zero you into that area. So if you're looking for a specific school or particular point of interest, the map search also allows that within the application. There's also a nice stats tab too. So when you're doing the map search, if you go to a particular area, you draw a shape around an area, you can click on the stats and it'll give you some kind of recent sold information and some averages and some numbers. And that's also just a really nice tool within that map search. And then lastly with the map search, when you're in the map search, there's a little informational eye icon. And that eye icon will actually allow you to put in you can view the boundaries. So this is integrated with Realist as well because Realist is a CoreLogic product. So you can input the lot boundaries, and when you do that, you can click on any property on the map and it'll pull up that tax information. So it'll pull up the owner name, recent sales, any of the legal description. And then within the owner name, there's actually even a little icon where you can add the owner as a new contact. So if you're working with a new client, you can pull up their tax information, you can start a new contact on your device for that particular owner. InstaView is a tool, again, when you're on the go. You can open up the InstaView button, which is right on the front screen of the MLS Touch mobile application, and it'll pull up any properties that are within 400 feet of you. So essentially, as you move your phone around, it's going to locate you, and it'll pull up any listings that are in the MLS that are within that 400-foot radius of you. So it's a nice kind of tool to use, again, when you're on the go or if you're out and about, or maybe you're up the street doing a showing at one listing with your client, but then you see that there's a sign down the street for another property. You can easily pull up that property quick and easy using this InstaView feature. Again, as always, there's a lot of nice integrations within the application. There's a lot of different tools. Showing time is obviously something that you probably use nearly on a daily basis, but the showing time is integrated right within the mobile application when you pull up a listing, so you can quickly access that product, set up a showing for your client, and just kind of get those tasks done at ease. And this is when I had touched on the stats tab. There is a feature for hot sheets on the main page of the mobile application as well. So you can set up, specific criteria and parameters based on what you desire or your client may desire. And you can run this hot sheet, and then you can really zero in on it and pull up stats that are, based on it within the last day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. You can go out an extended period of time, and it gives you some real-time statistics based on, property type, sales, median prices, and that type of thing. So again, just a really nice kind of statistic tool that you can have right in your hands, especially when you're on the go. Another thing that the application does is that you can actually pull a link from the MLS Touch mobile application, and you can include it in your email signatures, or maybe when you're trying to reach out to new clients. And when you do that, when your client clicks on that link, it's going to take them into this screen where they can input their name and their contact information, and it will link you to your specific MLS Touch mobile application. So it's like a lead generator for you, and it'll pull you in. You'll be notified via email that you have a new client that is, looking for a potential property, and then you can connect with that said client based on that link that you have out there in your marketing. So our vendor, again, CoreLogic, always suggests using that link from the MLS Touch mobile application and just including it in your email signature when you're making communications with others. It really allows other people to connect with you within this mobile platform. So again, this is just kind of touching on that collaboration with your client. You can easily get them added into your device if they do choose to work with you. And then this is the screen that they will see. It's called MLS Client. So that is what their app is actually called, where yours is MLS Touch, theirs is called MLS Client. But it gives them that, that capability to be connected with you. There's an option in there for My Agent, so then again, they're connected with you. But it gives them the capability to run some searches. There's some other tips and tricks and tools in here for them as well. But do know that there is some information and tools that are available to the agent that are not available to your client. So that tax information, any agent specific information, all of that will only be available to you as the agent, but your client still has a very wide variety of access to different tools within the application. One thing that is really awesome about the MLS Touch application is that you can do your own branding. So you can go in, you can choose your own color scheme, you can upload your logo, and it can be really specific to you and your brokerage, which is great. And there's also an option within the MLS Touch application that you can enable that will push out your branding to the One Home platform as well. So they're all integrated, so it's called Brand and Share. So if you choose to set up your logo and your icon and stuff in the MLS Touch application, it'll also push it out to the One Home platform. So when your clients are receiving auto emails, they're going to see the same color scheme, the same logo within the One Home application. So again, both of them are going to work hand in hand. It's one of the best premium features within the application. It's pretty easy to set up. You simply just go to the More button in the lower right-hand corner, and then you go into the Brand and Share, and it kind of just walks you through that process. And again, here are just some more screen shares of what that brand and share would look like kind of across the platform. And here's just another screen grab here. It shows you again, if you go in, you can view your client's favorites. You can access messages within the application. But again, it's just all integrated. That branding is consistent across the platform. And then another really nice feature of the MLS Touch application is that there is a Facebook integration. So what that means is that you can actually log into your Facebook account, and each time that you have a listing update on one of your listings, it can automatically post to Facebook for you. So say that you have a new listing come on, and you get it launched and submitted in the system, MLS Touch will pick that up and it'll automatically post on Facebook for you, saying like, new listing, and then it'll pop up as a new Facebook post on your business page if you wish to share that. And again, it's really easily accessible and integrated by going to that More button within the mobile application, and then there's an option for Facebook. So you can get those tied together. And then same thing goes if you have a price reduction, and it'll push out that new information. It'll automatically post for you right on your Facebook page. All right, and that's about all I have for you guys. Is there any questions at this time? I know we want to kind of keep things moving along, but I'll do my best to answer any questions right now. Otherwise, please do reach out to our help desk too, and make sure that you ask them questions if things do arise or if you encounter any issues or anything like that. Yes?
I have two other apps on my phone, Home Snap and Home Spotter.
Yes.
Do I get rid of both of those? Because
they're don't have to. So unfortunately, we are terminating our contract with Home Snap.
Okay.
So that is going to be no longer. Home Spotter is not going anywhere at this point. So you certainly can still use it. Again, it's going to use the same credentials that you use to log into Matrix. And again, I think Home Spotter has some really good tools. MLS Touch is, obviously a competitor. So, and I personally like the fact that MLS Touch is integrated in the apps between Matrix and MLS Touch. They talk back and forth. Changes you make here appear over here. Changes you make here appear over there. So it's a little bit better in that regard. But again, Home Spotter's not going anywhere at this point. But again, our contract is being terminated with Home Snap. Yes.
You said the lead gen, we can put a link in our email.
Yeah.
Where do we get that link?
It's within the application. So I will have to dig in there and try and help you show you where that is.
Okay.
But I think it's like within like your profile settings somewhere. But yeah, it's within the application. I can take a look here once I step down and I can come back there. Yeah. I see another hand. Yes.
Did you say that it has my saved searches already in here from?
It should, yes. So when you go to the Save Searches button, there's two tabs at the top.
Yep.
One will say like MLS Touch Save Searches and one will say Matrix Save Searches.
Okay, and then how about my hot sheet? Is that gonna link to my hot sheet
I
that I
don't
already have
think
set
the
up?
hot sheets from Matrix show up in the mobile application, but you can create your own customized hot sheets within the MLS Touch app yourself. So you would have to kind of recreate them. Those are a little bit more comprehensive because there's so many different fields and stuff available over on the Matrix side, but your save searches will be in there.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
There, under, when you say editing, when you edit in one system, it transfers over to the other, but there was one section that didn't, like you couldn't edit something. Can you clarify that for me? Can you make changes to like an MLS listing in the app and then
No.
edit? Okay.
So there is no listing editing in the MLS Touch application right now. So what we've been kind of talking with our vendor about is because all of the editing is done in Add Edit, what we would like to do is somehow get Add Edit integrated within the MLS Touch application, but how that would look is it would essentially route you over to the Add Edit system. So there would be like a link embedded within MLS Touch, and then when you click on it, it would open up like a web page within the application, taking you to Add Edit to do your listing edits. So unfortunately, there's not an editing capability for listings specifically in there, but for your contacts there are. So if you edit your contacts, it'll sync. Yes.
One other quick question. Under the contacts, whether it's the member roster or our contacts, can you sort them? Like default here, it looks like it's all by first name.
I think it's alphabetical, yeah. I don't know that there's a way that you can specifically sort them yourself in
By
that
last name
app.
instead of first name?
But I will definitely take that suggestion back. Again, we're kind of continuing to make some tweaks and stuff. I know that in one specific area within the application too, when you go to city, it's a really long laundry list of cities and you can't like type in a keyword. You have to like scroll to find your city. So I know that that's also something that we're looking to improve. Because obviously where we cover a very large area, there's a lot of cities in that list. It's kind of a pain to scroll, so. Any other questions? All right, well, I will turn it over to Justin
I
here.
have one question.
Sure.
A couple of slides back, I kind of missed what you said about, for that. It was something to do with real estate tax or something?
Yeah, so it's the map search. So when you go to the map search button on the main screen within the mobile application, when you go in there, there's a little informational eye on the map, and when you click on that, you can choose to enable boundaries. And then when you enable those boundaries, they will show up on the map when you zoom in, and then you can click on a parcel and it'll give you that tax information. And I can show you that here too, real briefly as well. All right, with that, I'm gonna transition over to Justin here, and then I will get to your questions here in just a moment, okay?
Alrighty, well, good morning. So everyone's probably looking at this going, oh great, here we go. But like I tell people all the time, I have to do this every day. You only have to listen to me for about 25 minutes or so, but not a huge deal. But yeah, well, let's just jump right into it so we can kind of zip this along here. So real quick, the way I kind of like to start off these meetings and these presentations is kind of going over a lot of the information or the incorrect notices and everything that we do send during a quarter. Unfortunately, this quarter is all from Q3 of last year. With our new CEO and some changes that have been happening internally, we have not gotten our compilation of our data from Q4, I guess, at this point. We're not quite done with Q1 yet, but a lot of the information is pretty much the same. A lot of it does stay similar. Some stuff kind of jumbles positions, but again, a lot of it is the same. But again, the biggest piece of the pie here is the projected close date and pending notices. It's over half of the notices we send as an organization to brokers and agents. When they do have a listing status that is in pending, our system will automatically find any listing that has a projected close date and is not closed 7 days afterwards. So the unfortunate thing is a lot of these projected notices or projected close dates tend to happen on Fridays. I can't imagine why. But a lot of them do go out Friday mornings. And then what ends up happening a lot of times with us and what we see is we'll see a lot of those not really get addressed until Monday, which at that point, because notices that are sent out have 48 hours to correct or be updated. And of course, Saturday and Sunday, that's your 48 hours right there. So a lot of times we'll get notices, escalated notices sent out on Mondays with a $100 fine attached to them, and people call us kind of screaming and crying. But a lot of the time though, as long as you're not a habitual misser of your projected close dates and updating those listings, we waive a lot of fines. We do waive 98% of fines, or 98% of notices do not become fines. So they may seem scary, they may seem a little mean sometimes, but we're pretty nice about how we treat agents, and we get it, we're all human, we all make mistakes. So that's kind of one big thing about that. But like I said, the projected close dates, those do go, automatically after 7 days of missing your projected close date. Whether it's closed or whether you need to push it out, you just need to go in and update that status, and that'll kind of take care of the problem right there. The other really big piece of the pie is the incorrect and incomplete data, and I'll kind of touch on those here on the next slide a little bit, but that's just for incorrect data, as it says. A lot of it's kind of inputting information incorrectly or inputting wrong information, but the other little pieces in here, commission comments, if you're offering a bonus or some sort of commission detail, a lot of times we'll see sometimes with auction sites, or if you need to put in an offer onto some third-party site, they do require like a technology fee or something to that effect. Anything that kind of says, hey, this fee needs to be paid by the agent is a no-no, especially if you say, $125 technology fee to be paid by the buyer's agent. That's one of the ones that we do see most commonly when it comes to that kind of stuff. Photo issues, pretty basic. If you have a sign in the photo, we usually send those out pretty quickly. And those do get reported to us. We don't actually have the manpower to kind of go through every single photo that gets loaded. So, and I'll touch on that process a little bit here too. Late listings, that's just basic. If you don't get it in within the 2 business day window of a list date, your contract start date, your contract start date, if it's not entered within 2 business days, those do go out automatically as well based on the way our system detects them and finds them. So, other quick one, URL supplement violations. That's usually when you upload your supplements and it has either your brokerage, yourself, your beautiful faces, if you put agent information on there, name, contact information. If you just upload those as public supplements, instead of putting them in as agent-only supplements, we'll usually get those reported to us as well. And that's kind of how those get sent out. I know one question you guys are probably looking at is the serious violations. For those ones, like I said, they are considered serious violations, which is why they have the double asterisk on there. But for the majority of those, we don't send too many of them. As you can see, Q3, we only sent 10. I want to say so far this quarter, I think we've only sent about 4 or 5. So it hasn't been too many, but the serious violations do include your unauthorized property access. So if you enter a property without a showing time request, or you go in before, or you go in after your approved time, and somebody reports it to us, that's gonna get sent out to you. Unauthorized use of MLS, sharing your password, sharing your access with other people, other agents. That's another one that will get flagged by our system automatically with our Clarity security system. And then misuse of MLS data. Basically, that's just kind of using data for purposes not for realtors. Whether you're trying to promote your own business. I say I've had that happen before, where an agent was using listings and promoting his cleaning business so people could get their houses clean and then list them for sale. But those serious violations are an automatic $1,000 fine. So, it's kind of one of those things. They don't happen very often, but when they do happen, we do take them very seriously. So just kind of bear those in mind. I say most people don't really step over that threshold, but if they do, they usually do it by mistake anyway. So just kind of be careful of those. Next slide, like I said, I'm going to kind of break down some incorrect and incomplete data. These are just the top 5, and it does drop off pretty steeply after these top 5. I want to say the next number in line was below 50. So it's not too many that go out for different types of incorrect data. But the number 1 up here, non-conforming bedrooms. And just a quick note about non-conforming bedrooms. I'm sure a lot of people probably saw we put up a news alert. Gosh, do you remember about a month ago, David? We put that up there about non-conforming bedrooms?
Yeah, it was probably about a month ago.
So, when it comes to non-conforming bedrooms, we actually don't set what a conforming bedroom is. Those are all set by the city or the county that the property is located in. So, unfortunately, if you call us asking if this is a bedroom or if this would qualify as a bedroom, I can't answer it, and I would actually direct you to either the city assessor or the county assessor. So, if you think of it, to save yourself an extra step, because I always do feel terrible saying, I can't answer it, call these people. I wish I could give an answer, but it's not a rule that we have, that we don't set those definitions. But a lot of times we get questions about closet requirements, walk-through requirements. If a walk-through room is considered a bedroom legally, again, that's all at the assessor, that the city or the county that the property is located in. But we do send those out if somebody has a question about it. A lot of this stuff we do check against county records and previous listings if there are any. So if we can check it, verify it one way or another, we will send a notice on it. Like I said, though, we don't set the rules on it. More often than not, especially with the non-conforming bedrooms, we do check those county records. Of course, caveat there is we also know that those are not always correct and not always up to date. So, the last time an assessor went through a property might have been the year it was built. So, kind of one of those drawbacks, unfortunately. But moving on from non-conforming bedrooms, styles, a lot of those ones are pretty simple ones. where we'll see the like a split level, split entry style home get entered as a 2-story, or a 1.5-story get entered as a 2-story style structure. A lot of times it can kind of be attributed to selecting the wrong thing off the drop-down menu. But it's not really a huge one, usually a pretty quick fix for most people to put that in there. But we'll see that. And some other ones we'll see is townhouses. You know, if you have a quad or 4-corner, it'll make it selected as a side-by-side or vice versa. So it's just kind of one of those ones where you just got to be a little more meticulous rather than kind of zipping through and trying to get that information pretty quickly. Finished square footage, foundations. Both of these are kind of the same issue, and I was at Patty Jo's office on Tuesday, and I call it fat finger syndrome. I'm guilty of it quite frequently. Just a lot of the foundation size and the finished square footage is, just going a little too quickly, and instead of entering 1,000 square feet, you'll put in 10,000 square feet or something along those lines. So we'll get a lot of those kind of reported to us. Some other issues too is if a space was finished and they're either remodeling or they're replacing carpet or anything like that, for finished square footage you do need to have flooring of some sort in there, whether it's carpet, vinyl, linoleum if anyone still uses that, tile, any kind of flooring will count towards your finished square footage. We do get the question a lot of times, does concrete or epoxied concrete, painted concrete, typically in a single family home, no. One question that always comes up too is the high-rise condos downtown that have that industrial modern look. Those are considered finished because of the intent of the design. And that's kind of the biggest difference between a single family home. If somebody does that in that basement, it looks great. I personally like the way it looks, but the intention of the builders when they design that house is that it would be finished. So that's kind of the biggest difference between a single family home and those high-rise condos with that modern industrial look, is that the intent of the design and how it's supposed to be finished. So we do kind of run into that occasionally. Another quick thing about finished square footage is, especially on 1.5-story style homes, we'll see that upper level where the entire floor space will be counted as finished square footage. And generally you can't do that. You do have to have, I believe it's 5 feet of ceiling height up to a point of 7 for it to be considered finished square footage. So any space under that 5-foot ceiling height does not count. You do kind of have to remove that from your finished square footage count. And that, again, kind of primarily on 1.5-story style homes. So just kind of be aware of that. Foundation, real quick to touch on that. Like I said, a lot of it is just kind of entering one too many numbers. We'll see that occasionally. And then the other thing about foundation numbers is we'll see when agents are kind of totaling up their numbers for their measurements, they'll put the entire finished square footage of their structure in as the foundation size, rather than just, if you look at it bird's eye view, top down, your foundation is just going to be the outline of that structure. It's not going to include every floor, it's just the outline of the structure. So just kind of be aware of those when you're putting those in there. And then real quick on statuses, a lot of times these ones do get sent out for properties that have accepted a purchase agreement. Our rules do require statuses to be updated within 24 hours. Obviously, if you get a purchase agreement that's accepted at 5 p.m. one day, we're not really going to expect you to have it in there right away in the morning the next day. So, there is a little bit of a buffer time, but technically the rule does say 24 hours. So just kind of be aware of that. But anytime you do accept a purchase agreement, it does need to be noted in the listing, whether you put a contingency on there or you move the status to pending right away. If you're feeling bold that day, you can definitely do that. But that's kind of the biggest thing we see with statuses is when a purchase agreement does get accepted, it just doesn't get updated in the listing, to let other agents know that basically you're too late, unfortunately. And we do get a lot of people, I don't want to say crying about it, but we do get a lot of complaints about that. Like, I had sellers that really wanted to see this property. I tried to set up a showing and they told me it's already sold. So just kind of be aware of those. But again, that's kind of the top 5 big ones for that one. But another question that we do get a lot, and I can't believe I haven't really incorporated this too much before, but Patty Jo, this is some new stuff. Reporting incorrect and incomplete data. A lot of people are scared to do it. The best part about it is that if you are in a listing say advance, please. If you're in a listing, it's pretty easy to report it. If you see some square footage or you think the style is noted incorrectly or, anything that you don't feel is correct, the easiest thing to do is, if you should have zoomed in on it a little bit more, but that little triangle outline with the exclamation mark in there, that's a way to report incorrect or incomplete data. And they do come to us completely anonymously. We don't know who sends them. If we do have follow-up questions, we do have to get IT involved and say, hey, who sent this? Can we ask them a question? Because we're not 100% sure about it. Yes?
David,
Yes.
can we do that from the app if we're in a property and it's?
I don't think that specific button is available in the app. I think it's only available on the full matrix system.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely something that we can note and ask that maybe if it can be integrated.
That would
It's
actually be a good
definitely an
idea,
ask.
because that would be a good thing to have, if you're going through a property.
Especially because it would be really nice, because there's different integrations within the app, like showing times one, if we could just add it in that scrolling list somewhere, then when you're on the go, you can quickly
Yeah.
just click it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, definitely can submit that.
A lot of times I send an email to the agent. And,
Yeah.
and just say, just so you know, it's,
And
not on, just, if they have something marked completely off that,
Mhm.
I.
Yeah, and that was kind of gonna be my next thing. Yeah, we do get these reported to us anonymously. A lot of times agents kind of do like to go that route where they kind of just say, hey, I went through your property, I showed the property to some clients. Are you sure about this? And that's probably the best way to do it. It kind of keeps the relationships open, friendly, nice, because a lot of times what we do end up seeing is people kind of going, who reported this? And I'm super angry at them. And of course, they're anonymous, so we don't know who exactly is sending them to us. But I do know a lot of agents kind of prefer to try to give them a friendly nudge and say, hey, something doesn't look right here.
Well,
A
and
lot
I
of
think it's
times-
quicker, if I see something that's marked as $45,000 and it really should be $450.
Yep.
I'll contact the agent right away
Yeah.
so they can get that fixed.
Yeah, and usually, I say a lot of times too, some of the complaints that we do get, they'll say, hey, I've told this agent a couple times and they haven't done anything about it. So I don't want to say use us as a last resort, but a lot of times it can be as simple as just giving them a phone call or a text and just saying, hey, something doesn't look right here. But ultimately, it does matter to us. We do ask that information is correct, accurate, complete, all that fun stuff. So, if you do end up reporting a listing to us, we do ask that you provide as much detail as possible. We've gotten some that have been pretty basic, pretty empty in terms of what the complaint is. So, provide detail, be specific. Sometimes we'll get something that says house is only 4 bedrooms, and we go, okay, which one is not the bedroom? And then we kind of have to, not that it's a problem for us, we do have to do a little legwork. This is where looking through the county records, previous listings, and all that fun stuff comes into play. But, just making something as simple as saying the 4th bedroom in the lower level is non-conforming. That just saves us a lot of time and allows us to get those notices and correction letters sent out a little bit quicker. So, if you can, if you do end up reporting it, just try to be specific. If it's something about a photo even, saying photo number 16 has a broker sign in it or something like that. Like I said, it just kind of makes the process a lot smoother for everyone. Not to say that we're lazy, but it does help because we do go through a lot of them every day. Yeah.
Sorry, backtracking just a little bit,
Okay.
but in finished square footage, what about, is painted cinder block basement walls?
No, it does, thank you, I actually forgot to kind of go through that whole thing. I started with flooring, but it does need walls and a ceiling. So it does need drywall, sheetrock, some sort of ceiling on there. So the exposed floor beams, like I said, that industrial kind of look, where you paint the floor beams and have the lights in there, recessed lighting or whatever, that would not count as finished either. So it does need to have some sort of finishing on it, like the painted cinder block does not count, so. Get back on the train here. Yeah, so again, if you can, just be specific, provide as much detail as you possibly can. It helps us out a lot. I say when it comes to I can't spell, clear cooperation reporting. If you do see something like this, and we're gonna go deeper into this on the next slide here, but if you do have any clear cooperation questions or possible violations, a lot of people do, again, kind of get concerned about that because typically you're not gonna see an actual listing, so you're not really able to use that original button that I showed you guys. When you do that, the best thing to do is email the rules department, rules@northstarmls.com. They come to us directly. And, when you do report a clear cooperation potential violation, we do ask for as much information as possible again. Like I said, provide detail, be specific. Who, if you know the agent or even the brokerage, that helps us a lot because sometimes we get sent on a wild goose chase. I saw a sign in the yard at this address and that's it. And I've had situations before where an address is not even the right address. So then we really can't do anything about it. But, like I said, if you know the broker, if you know the agent, if they have the sign in the yard, take a picture of it if possible. What you saw, when you saw it, the basic questions for an investigation, basically. But again, as much detail as you possibly can is always helpful. So just try to include that kind of stuff. But my favorite slide is coming up next. Gosh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Withholds and coming soons. I'm shocked that his hands went up immediately going, I have so many questions. So real quick, I'll just kind of go through the rundown of withholds versus coming soons, what you can and cannot do. And then, how much time we got? We'll open the floor for questions. But with the withholds, I say, I'm sure you guys probably use them quite a bit. I know a lot of agents, a lot of offices are starting to use withholds, not just for the seller's benefit, but also for your guys' benefit to build yourselves a little bit of extra time to get your photos done, get the property cleaned up, and get it presentable and all that fun stuff. But when you do a withhold, there is no marketing permitted. You cannot have a sign in the yard, you cannot do social media, you cannot do any of that kind of stuff. So just remember withholds, you think of them as an office exclusive. You can market within your own office. So if you do your morning meetings, your Tuesday morning meetings, and say, hey, I've got a property coming on next week, currently it's withheld, you can definitely share it within your office. But anything outside of that is going to be frowned upon and then potentially be a clear cooperation violation. So if you get a blast email or a social media notification saying, hey, I've got a property coming on, and you don't know who it is or it's not someone from your office, that would technically be a clear cooperation violation. So just kind of be on the lookout for it, because the one thing about clear cooperation is if it doesn't get reported to us, we don't know about it. That's kind of the one huge, I don't want to call it a mistake, but the one huge thing is that we have a really hard time policing that unless it gets reported to us. So like I said, you can discuss it within your own brokerage, you can talk about it amongst your peers at your brokerage. And one thing that has kind of come up is that you can actually show it in a withheld status. So if you do have agents within your brokerage that have buyers that would like to see a property that's withheld, go ahead. You can definitely do that. You can actually show it to anyone that wants to see it. And I'm sure that's probably a question we'll get to at the end here. But that's kind of the three big things about withholds is that section is can't market it, can't advertise it, but you can show it and you can discuss it with other agents within your own brokerage. Yeah, there's a lot more to it, and like I said, we'll probably get to it in a second. But just real quick on the coming soons, a lot of the coming soon fields that are required are the same as active. So if you go from withheld to coming soon, you do need to have your photos, you do need to have your MLS input form complete and signed by the sellers, and then you put it in basically like you would an active listing. So just make sure all that information is correct and up to date. The coming soon time limit is 21 day maximum. I actually had an agent ask yesterday, can we go further than 21 days? And I said, unfortunately, no. And they said the sellers aren't going to be ready for another month. And I said, I really can't help you, unfortunately. So yeah, that 21-day limit is a hard cap. You cannot go past that. If something happens, something unfortunate, a pipe burst, some pump, whatever, you kind of have two options. One, you can either move it to TNAS until it is ready to show. Of course, when you do that, you're going to get the back on market notification rather than new listing notification. So that's kind of one thing a lot of agents do kind of push back on, and unfortunately, I can't really help you with it. The other option would be to cancel and relist. The only drawback to that is if you do a cancel and relist, you cannot use coming soon again. It does need to be either expired or canceled or off market. TNAS does not count as off market. It needs to be expired or canceled for 90 days before that coming soon status can be used again. And we do get a lot of pushback on that. I do believe we're having, we're kind of moving that along to the Rules Committee to see if there's any wiggle room or any kind of things that they might be able to kind of either lower that or make some exceptions for, like I said, for property damage, storm, water backups, all that fun stuff. So, but also within that 21-day limit, you can move that availability date around. You can move it up to 21 days, or if the sellers say, hey, we got done 4 days early, let's just go active today, you can move it to active that instant if you would like to. So that availability date is kind of a date that we put in there or ask people to put in there as this is what it's planned, but life happens. So we also understand that they're either going to be ready early or they might have to push it back for some emergency of some sort or other reasons as well. Yes.
Just a comment that I'm sure we've all experienced. If you do go on early, then you're pissing off all the agents that already have showings set for when you had it scheduled. So just be careful.
Yeah,
Know
and-
what you're doing,
Yep, and that was going to be kind of my next little thing on that, is if you do end up going early, there's no rule, there's no requirement that says you have to, but to be a good person and be a good friendly agent, we do kind of suggest letting other agents know, especially if they already have a showing request in for the availability date. It's always best to kind of let them know, hey, we're actually going to go early this day. Would you like to reschedule for this day or something like that? Otherwise, like I said, you might have a handful of agents that are kind of angry at you and will vow to never work with you again. So,
And you can do that. And you can do that in showing time. You can go into showing time and do an email blast for people who've
Yes.
scheduled viewings on your
yep,
property.
that is good
You
call.
can do a custom message and just say, hey. So.
So yeah, that's just kind of the fun thing about coming soons is, just as long as you're vocal about it and you're informative and letting people know kind of what's going on with the property, most of the time people are pretty understanding of it. Again, in the coming soon status, you can market it, you can advertise it in any way you feel is appropriate, necessary, all that fun stuff. So social media, signs in the yard, all that good stuff. You can definitely do that kind of stuff. The only thing you can't do in coming soon is show it. So basically the exact opposite of withheld in this case. You can't show it, you can't do open houses, you can't do private showings, you can't do any previews. I say it doesn't happen quite so much anymore, but early on in the pandemic, when agents were doing virtual showings, they would do, a Facebook Live or a Zoom meeting with clients and say, hey, I'm at the property, and you'd walk through and you could respond live to their questions. Those are technically considered showings, so we still don't allow those to happen in a coming soon either. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, it doesn't happen too much anymore, but it is still an option that a lot of people do come across. And finally, I had another agent yesterday, again, call and be very upset about this, but in the coming soon status, offers can be submitted sight unseen, which a lot of people, I don't want to say have a hard time grasping, but it is a very definite possibility. It'd be no different than walking up off the street and saying, I'd like to buy your house, here's an offer. No different. But you can submit an offer, sight unseen, the sellers can review it, the sellers can accept it, and you can go straight from coming soon to pending if you want to. Like I said, it does make a lot of people upset, it makes a lot of people angry, especially when they say, I really had buyers, we already had a showing set up for the availability date. But again, that is seller privilege basically at that point. If they review it and they accept it and they say, cool, we don't even have to deal with showings at this point, we already got what we asked for, I'd take the deal. But that's kind of one of the big ones is, especially spring market again now, it's probably gonna start heating up a little bit more in terms of sight unseen offers, but we do see quite a bit of those around this time of year. But if you do accept an offer again, you cannot leave it in coming soon. You do have to move it to either active if you're going to continue doing showings, or TNAS if you're not going to do showings, but you do have to put a contingency on there, or again, if you're feeling bold, go straight to pending. So those are kind of the quick tips and quick touches on withholds and oh God, here's the other slide. Okay, let me have it. But yeah, just real quick before I do take questions, if you guys do ever have any questions or anything, feel free, email us. We respond as quickly as we get them. Usually within 5 minutes after we get them, somebody's replying. A lot of times it's me. So yeah, you can either email us, rules@northstarmls.com. That's for questions, complaints. Again, if you have clear cooperation questions or anything like that, or see something that might be a clear cooperation thing, email us there. You can always call us, 651-251-3210. And then our new little tool, we've actually had it for quite a while, but we finally, I guess, went public with it. Our little Zendesk library. There is a lot of information there and a lot of stuff that you can get questions answered, like simple questions, basic questions. We do have a lot of articles in there kind of explaining some of the rules and how some of the rules work and how they interact with each other. So that's always a good tool to start with. And then, if it doesn't answer your question right away, go ahead and email us, call us anyway, and we'll get you the answers we need and we'll work with you and help you guys out. That's kind of what we're here for. So.
And we'll work to try and get probably some marketing out on that Zendesk help.
Yeah, that's still
platform
pretty
too.
early in the stages right now. Like I said, we've been building it for the last 3-4 years, putting our articles and everything in there. So it's kind of, I don't want to call it bare bones, but it's still pretty basic. But with our new marketing team and everything, we are going to start pushing that a little bit more. But early look, you guys get the early look. So other than that, questions? No? Yeah. Oh my gosh. This might be a first. Cool. I say that too. That's pretty much all I have. I will kind of hang around a little bit too if you guys want to discuss something one-on-one, ask questions one-on-one. I will stick around for a little bit as well. So.
Go back to the finished square foot, the flooring in the basement. Our house was built in '56.
Okay.
Asbestos tile flooring. We took it out, scraped everything, cleaned it up, and put down a highly polished floor.
Highly polished cement?
No, it's over the cement.
It's over the cement. Okay. Yeah, that would probably be considered flooring at that point. A good question or a good person to ask would be an appraiser, just to double check and make sure it's up to their standards. To me, what that sounds like is it is a covering of some sort, so that would most likely count under our rules.
Okay.
Yeah, one question that might be more for David, but on the MLS app, the listings, when it says square footage, I think it's showing the total square footage,
Not
not
finished.
finished.
Okay. I can make a note of that.
Bug report.
I actually thought there was another, I think that was actually happening in one home and we had to modify that because it was showing the total rather than the finish. We want the finish to be displayed. So yeah, I'll note that here. I'll take a look at that.
Thanks.